really hope that I remember everything that I want to talk about. Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to finally do this video consisting of what my academy experience was like. I just wanted to talk about my experience because I know a lot of you have interest in either becoming a police officer or you're starting the academy. That's what I'm here to talk about today. And then I'm also going to do a video consisting of what it's like to be a female police officer in 2019. Stay tuned for that. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you do. It'll mean everything to me. I love meeting and talking to each and every one of you. It's just so much fun. First question that I get a lot is, what made you want to become a police officer? I'm gonna be honest, I never really wanted to be one. I remember in college where I was friends with this one girl and she was like, oh, I want to be a police officer. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I could never imagine myself doing that. And now here I am. I always wanted to do something with fashion and beauty. I was just so obsessed with it at such a young age. I would just study magazines over and over and over again and just look at all of these beautiful products, all of this beautiful clothing that these girls would be wearing. I just loved it so much. And then I would make lists, ask my brother if he could take me to the store and like buy all this makeup. It was insane. When I first went to college, I honestly had no idea what I really wanted to do. Back in high school, they made us take like these tests to see, you know, what's best suitable for you as a career depending on what your personality is. So I matched up with a fashion merchandiser. And so as I was continuing to look into that, I was like, this is so cool. You get to buy clothing for a store. So I brought this idea to my parents. My mom, being the lovely, blunt person that she is, she said, you're not really gonna get anywhere with that. So I was like, oh, okay. So then she starts talking about going into being an FBI, being a Spanish translator for the FBI, all of this stuff. And yeah, it sounded super interesting, but I'm like, I don't want to do that. I still didn't know what the heck I wanted to do. All I knew is that what I loved was fashion and makeup. I'm not gonna specifically say that my parents made me get into this job. They're not the sole reason why I became a police officer, but they did have a little bit of an influence. Keep in mind, you do not need, I really want to emphasize this, a criminal justice major, minor, anything to be a police officer. You learn everything in the academy, and I really wish that I knew that prior to going into this process. I decided to enter myself into a police academy. I'm not sure how other states are. You can pay your way through phase one. The academy is in two phases. Phase one is the academics, the defensive tactics, things like that. Phase two is when you do the firearms. That's how it is when you pay your way through. I think when you actually get picked up by an agency, you have phase one and then phase two together, and then you just have to qualify with your department. The way that I did it, I paid my way through. So it was $5,000. We're able to pay it in increments because I wanted to get the ball rolling. Becoming a police officer is such a long process. So if you don't want to sit around and just wait, which I don't blame you, and if you want to get the ball going, pay your way through if you can. Some people were able to get financial aid. You put in an application to whichever school that you want to go to, which is the academy. Usually it's held at a college. You put your application in, they contact you, you get the process rolling. You aren't really denied. I don't think I've ever really encountered anyone that's been denied from the process. Once you are applied, once you are accepted, they send you a list of things that they want you to have prior to coming to the academy for the first day. Now the first day, it's gonna be intimidating. You don't know what to expect. You're gonna be nervous, but just take a deep breath. Everything's gonna be fine, and just remember that you're doing this for a reason. Take it literally hour by hour. Don't try to think ahead. Oh, what are we gonna do next? What are we gonna do next? Don't try to do that. Just take it hour by hour so that you kind of calm your nerves. Make sure that you eat breakfast, nothing that's too filling, because sometimes these academies want you to do physical things. I had to do push-ups the first day when we were still in our dress attire. It was really awkward because I was like, this blazer is kind of restricting. The first day, be at least like a half hour, 45 minutes early, because you never know what's gonna happen. If you are late, you might as well not even show up. No one tolerates tardiness, let's just say that. So please make sure that you get a good night rest prior to going in on your first day. We sat in rows. That's how it was the entire academy. We got to know the person next to us. They always like to do this team building, get to know each other kind of crap. We had to like interview the person next to us, then we had to do a presentation on that person. It's awkward the first day, but as you hang out with these people, they become your best friends. Some of them. Some people might irritate the absolute crap out of you. You're not one person anymore. You are a complete team. So if one person messes up, if one person's late, you all get the wrath of that. Instructors, whether they say mean things to you, they obviously don't mean it. It's just because they want to build up your character. They want to make you stronger, because quite honestly, people on the street say way worse, and you can't take it to heart. Start practicing that while you're in the academy. You gotta have a strong exterior and interior in order to be in this job. Honestly, towards the end, I was just sick of it. My academy was like 9 months long, and we only went Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. It was from 4 to 10, Tuesday, Thursday, and then on Saturday we had to be there at the ass crack of dawn, 6 to, it was like 4. I went to that gym prior to PT. PT we always had first. That would be a couple hours. And then after that, you had to get ready really quick. You had to run to the bathroom, get showered, changed. And what was really annoying is the PT was located at one building. You had to sprint and drive so fast to the other building in order to get to class on time. Some days it was 10 minutes. Some days it was 20, and then some days it was 30. So it kind of varied depending on if they wanted to be nice or not. I would always get there early just so I could work out, do a little bit of lifting prior to the PT, because our PT mainly consisted of running. If you are not a runner, you better learn how to become a runner. That's all you do. You do cardio, 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 miles after miles after miles. We would go 6 miles one day, 10 miles one day, 3 miles one day, which that would be the easy day. If you are not good at running, or you've never been interested in running, please start running. Do not go to the academy out of shape. Just don't do it. You're gonna throw up in front of everyone, and they're gonna either start yelling at you. Avoid the embarrassment and start working out now. Start running now. If you have issues with sit-ups and push-ups, start doing them now. I am always so confused on why people show up to the academy out of shape. You have such a long journey in front of you. Don't do it unprepared. Issues with the push-ups. Let me tell you right now, at first, girl bye, I could not do 10. But I started training, I started putting my mind to it. At the end of the academy, I was able to do like 26 in a row. Put your mind to it. You can do it. Some days would be just cardio. Some days we had an instructor for kind of like boot camp type workouts where we would do lifting, sprints, a variety on Saturday. As far as Tuesday, Thursday goes, those days were always running. As far as how many sit-ups and push-ups you have to do, I think that also varies depending on what state you're in. Once you find that out, start doing it on a regular basis. It's okay if you don't get it within a couple weeks, but just start slowly easing your way into those push-ups, sit-ups, and the run. Always drink a lot of water. Eat clean as well, because that fuels your body and it makes you just feel lighter. I recommend getting really good running shoes because you are going to be running so often. You don't want to get shin splints because that can cause injury. They make the workouts super hard at first. The first couple weeks, maybe even the first month, they're going to make them super hard because they want to weed out the weak people against the strong people. So if you're not able to keep up, if you're not able to do these kind of workouts, it's going to show and you're going to be kicked out. Now, it's a little harder to be kicked out if you pay your way through, but say if like an agency picks you up and they actually enroll you through their academy, then they can just kick you out whenever they want. With my academy, they had trainers to help you with the physical part so that if you weren't getting it, they could meet up with you who are struggling with the push-ups, sit-ups, and the run. I think that's all I want to talk about with the physical part. For the academic part of the academy, the instructors are actually police officers. Class consisted of writing down a bunch of notes. I thought it was a little bit challenging. I have had my share of challenges throughout this process. I always thought that I wasn't good enough, but I never gave up. I can't stress that enough. Just don't give up. You can do this. I was able to do it, so you definitely can do it. We were given uniforms that we had to change into, BDU pants, boots, and they provided the shirts for us. And then you also had to get a white shirt to wear under that. You always had to make sure that it was ironed. You always had to make sure that your boots were shined. They have inspections before you go into the classroom. So we had to make sure that our pants were ironed because they want the crease in the front. And they also wanted the crease on the sleeve because we got polos. For PT, they also give you a t-shirt. Before going into the classroom, we all lined up in a row. We had to stand at attention with our hands at their sides. If we didn't look up to par, then we would have to do push-ups. Once we were in the classroom, we didn't sit down until they told us to sit down. I remember one time we like messed it up and we all looked like shit like going into the room, and we had to pick up the tables and stack them within a certain amount of time, and if we didn't get it, we had to do it over again. So I think we actually ended up doing it 3 or 4 times. That's the kind of punishment that they make you do if you don't get it together. Looking back on it, I mean, it makes sense. We were a bunch of dorks that didn't know what the heck we were doing. I strongly believe what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. After we would sit, the chief would come in and make his little speech about what we're doing for the day, kind of give us a lowdown on how the day is gonna go. And then the instructor would come in and talk to us. We had binders that we had to keep in order. We would have binder checks on the regular, and if your binder wasn't up to par, you would get in trouble for that. I've always enjoyed like structured things like that. We also had in the classroom was I think they called it team leader. So it would rotate every so often. Whenever the chief decided that he wanted to nominate someone else as a team leader, then it would switch. We literally would go through the penal law book and just read all that. As far as the tests go, you really have to study for it. Some tests were open book. On the job, we literally look everything up. As you start to implement the laws with certain calls and cases, that's when you start to remember things. Make sure that you do pass the test. I think most places you're able to get like 1 fail. I used flashcards when I had to remember things, and I felt that that helped. Studying with someone else, that also does help. EVAC portion, which is the driving portion of the academy, that was also fun. We went to like this big parking lot. They set up courses over there. Serpentine, oh my gosh, that was the hardest thing. And when I finally got it, it was amazing. I went front and back. They do give you breaks throughout the day. As I was in phase 1, the chief that I work for now had contacted me and said that they wanted to offer a part-time position at their police department, which was so exciting. I met with him and the captain. Since it was part-time, it's a little bit easier. Getting full-time, you have to wait for the town board to vote and do all this stuff. But for part-time, it's a lot easier. So a lot of people actually start off part-time and then they transition into full-time. You can either get part-time at multiple locations, or you can just start off at part-time and then work your way up. I was basically hired before I graduated the academy, which was amazing. I was very grateful. My police uniform, I was able to wear that in the police academy graduation. Then I went into phase 2. Now phase 2 is the firearms portion of the police process. This is where I struggled the absolute most because I never had shot a gun before. I've never held one. Let me tell you right now, I failed phase 2. That was devastating. I thought that my career was completely over. I had to report back to the chief and the captain, and I was just mortified. I had to meet with them after failing. Luckily, they were able to schedule me another qualification, and I had to go out with our firearms instructor at the time and work with him. And what was so exciting is after shooting in the 30s, 40s, my highest score was a 98. I still have that board because I could not believe it. I'm like, holy freaking crap. This is proof that if you manifest things that you want to achieve, you keep telling yourself that you can do it, anything is freaking possible. And I know that people say that all the time. I know that it sounds corny. And yeah, it does. But it actually works. I was telling myself, you're gonna pass. You're gonna do this. You're gonna get through it. After thinking like that for a month, look what happened. Isn't that crazy? I thought that was so cool. Anything's possible. You can do it. After phase 2 came along, that's when I started working at the police department. You go through an FTO program. You have another officer with you in the vehicle. That's usually 16 to 18 weeks. I ended up getting extended. Then I had to have the chief ride in the car with me. I had to go through a lot of things in order to get to where I am. I've been a cop for almost 4 years, and I still feel like I have so much to learn. You bounce around with FTOs. You don't stick with one, because they want you to learn from multiple people, not just one person. I'm going to pull up some questions that you guys had on Instagram. Why did you want to become a police lady? The reason why I wanted to become one was because I like the idea that every day is different. Tips on preparing for the academy. I start in June. First of all, congratulations for starting in June. That's amazing. My tips for the academy are, if you're not an active person, like I mentioned earlier in this video, make sure that you have that under control. The worst thing that you can do is to just go in there being like, whatever, I'll learn how to run the academy, and then fail the first day because you had that mentality. That's the worst thing you can do. And I've seen so many people do it, and I just will never understand why. Prepare yourself. Start eating well. Start eating greens. Start eating proteins. Start drinking a lot of water. Do the running portion as much as you can. As far as the push-ups go, there are exercises that you can do. If you kneel on your knees, as if you're going to do a full push-up, but you don't fully extend your legs out, you obviously put your hands in front of you and just push down while you're on your knees, and then come up and do this. That was something that they told us to do while we're in the academy if you struggled with the push-ups. As far as the sit-ups go to the gym with a partner. Have them hold your feet, because you have to have both feet on the ground and you have to come all the way up. And you have to interlock your hands behind your head like this. And you have to come up. Your chest has to touch your knees when you go up for the sit-up. Get a lot of rest. Take your vitamins. Just be healthy. Just be healthy all around, because it's going to be exhausting. It's going to wear on you. You're going to have hard days. You're going to have good days. But just know that once it's over with, it's over with. You can get through this. You will do a great job. Makeup ideas for the academy. Hair tutorial. As far as your hair goes, make sure in the academy that is slicked back, put in a bun. Do not have any hairs falling out. Use 2 hair ties if you have to. Make sure that's secure. Use that hairspray. I can do an updated version for you guys if you want to see that. As far as makeup goes, do not wear any makeup to the academy. You can do mascara, but chances are if you do a lot of makeup, they're gonna get on your case for it. Don't do anything to piss off the rest of the class. You want to fit in as much as you can. Hey, Stephanie Rose just randomly wanted to say hi. Hey girl! How hard was the academy? Looking back on it, there were hard days. There were days where I just wanted to put my hands up and say I quit. I honestly think not giving up on stuff really does make you a stronger person, and it teaches you so much. I've learned so much throughout the academy and being a police officer about life that I never thought. It just opens up so many different doors and insights that you never really have thought about before. As far as it being hard, I thought that the academic part was the hardest. Defensive tactics was definitely a challenge because you got beat up basically every day for 2 weeks. I think the academics was probably the worst for me because it's not like a hands-on thing. Everyone learns differently. If you're more textbook-oriented kind of person, you're probably going to do very well in the academics. I don't really think it was too hard. Anyone can honestly do it as long as you put your mind to it and you give it your best. This video is probably going to be like a million years long, but I really hope that I provided you guys with solid information. If you have any more questions, anything that I didn't cover that you would like to know more about, please leave them in the comments down below. or you can DM me on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure that you do. Good luck to everyone who is in the academy or is pursuing a career in law enforcement. You are going to do amazing. Make sure that you subscribe before you leave. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, I will talk to you guys later.